Gamers, what's good? Let's play that iconic Romance of the Three Kingdoms intro by Koei Tecmo. Man, the nostalgia hits so hard. Like hearing that song play, that beat from just like 20 years ago when I was a young child and I got my hands on this game on the PS2, and to see now it on PC, the remake. I've gotten a little bit of time with the game last night when it first dropped. So much so I actually went through and completed the scenario without realizing I completed it. And what I mean by that, we'll get into here in a bit. But for those unaware, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, this game series is like a social RPG. I think that's a great way to describe it, as you're going around a lot of social dynamics between your relationship, your characters itself, whether you want to be at the very top level as a ruler or at the bottom, just a dude chilling in the middle of all the drama, or if you want to have a bandit or a soldiers climbing up the ranks. It maintains a lot of the original ROTK 8. The only downside so far that I've ran into is more of just there's no like that multiplayer aspect, like the be able to play as multiple characters at once. Otherwise, it's kind of like amped up on steroids. There's more scenarios, more people. I think like the power up kit that never came to America, which adds in like the family dynamic, having the babies, getting married. A lot more of that is put into this version here. But let's go in here and show you, you still have your questionnaire that'll go through and give you like recommended starting scenarios. Like here's like the best ruler, unbiased, Cao Cao. Guan Yu as a viceroy, Zhou Yu as a governor, tactician, Zhuge Liang, and Lu Bu if you just want to go around and just slaughtering everybody. And then free officer, someone interesting, Sima Yi during this time period here. But you can also go and pick through I think there's like over 1,000 officers to pick from, all 1,000 characters I should say. And if you go and you pick someone like Liu Bei here, it'll go through and say, here's all of the scenarios that he was a part of, and then giving you like very particular, like where was he at in each one of these, which is insane to think about for over 1,000 characters. But you can also pick the individual scenarios here. So you can see I start off with like the very first one with the Yellow Turban Uprising. A lot of these do have like beautifully handcrafted cutscenes, and they have fictional scenarios here. This is something I spent a lot of time in. I think as a kid was the Heroes Assemble in particular. Just throw everybody out there and just let's see who wins. But there's some other ones out here also, fictional wise. There's also the pre-order and early purchase bonuses here with the Valor Triumphs and the Coalition against Cao Cao. But you go from 184 all the way to 263, and you have up until 350 to beat the game essentially. Let's go back here. I think I wanted to show you, you can also go in here and create your own officer. You can edit the historical ones. Here there's some like prerequisite, as you saw, for like some scenarios, so there are some unlocks in the game, which is pretty cool to see there. I imagine they'll add in more like DLCs. The last RTK game I really played heavily was 13, and that goes more in line of my style. I think if you liked 8, 10, and 13, those are all very similar, because you can, this style of, you're not playing just top level the ruler there, whereas I think like 11 and 14, like those ones in particular off the top of my head, more in line with that. But they say ROTK 8 was like the GOAT. I think as a kid I played more maybe of 10 actually than 8. But I think it's just because like aging, how everything, aligned. But still, 8 was a really great game, playing it on the PS2. Let's actually get into the game here. As I was alluding to, I had actually beat the game without kind of realizing it. And that's only because of the flow of this game here. Actually, can I go back to... I guess let's start here. Yeah, since I'm already in a battle, you can see here I am. I'm playing as Guan Yu. Now I didn't start as Guan Yu. I actually played as Zhang Fei. Through the start, I went through like the cutscene with the Peach Garden Oath. But I ended up getting executed by Sun Jian after Liu-Bei's forces kind of got taken over by He Jin. You know, we went under the Han Empire, and then we started facing off against Sun Jian, and he straight up was like, "Can't keep my character alive." He just executed him. So you get the chance to continue the game as like your sworn brother or your wife, your siblings, or your son, daughter, your kids. So you can continue the game in different aspects there, depending on like your relationship with people. It's only hard you lost the game if like you've done nothing, like you have no relationships or anything. So sorry about that one, but yeah. So this is the combat flow here. You're going one at a time. You can see first would be Guan Yu over here, which I actually just want to get him far the heck away, and I'm gonna let Dong Zhuo do a lot of work here. Huang Gai and Sun Jian pretty strong. Yeah, wrecking house here. Yeah, I'm gonna let them just do a lot of the work here. I need to turn down the sound. It sounds like it's maybe a little bit too loud. Day 7 here. Alrighty, let's your sound all the way up here. Options. Let's pump it down just a little bit more. You do have the music from the game can either be the original soundtrack or the newer soundtrack. And then you have some display settings here. Everything seems very similar to the old game. The only thing I actually turned off that was just off-putting to me was the portrait animations. It seemed very like AI, weird, like I don't know how to really describe it, like those phone apps where they like used AI to go and like animate a still picture. This was really weird, so I wasn't a fan of that. I'd rather keep it like static or like them kind of breathing versus like turning, looking around, all kind of weird. But yeah, let me go back there, and I'm kind of actually just gonna let them do all the fighting here against Sun Jian. But this is how, like I said, the fighting works. One at a time. You have your tactics, your grand stratagem, overall, which is like a one-time use. Your tactics build up. This is a stratagem meter. At the very top here underneath the Guan Yu's forces. Let me wait here. I'm just gonna let them beat up Huang Gai and Sun Jian. Hopefully there gets to be a duel here. That would be kind of cool to show off that and the debates. Looks like Huang Gai retreated, and Sun Jian's actually going to get even more powerful. He's got so many troops here, being the main leader of the force. But like I said, I'm a bit farther in this campaign here. I actually went through and completed it, not by conquering all of China, but there's different completion like routes you can go to close out the campaign, which is pretty cool if you don't want to do like the full grand hours long. Like I actually completed this campaign in about 2 hours, which was pretty cool to go through and see. So it looks like we actually do have a duel that happened between Dian Wei and Sun Jian. Sadly, you can't watch it unless you're a part of it. But Dian Wei destroyed him, and boom, there we go. Beautiful. I love the art style. This game is so good. They released Sun Jian. They didn't execute him. Come on. What are we doing here? Alrighty, I believe my guy's actually, Guan Yu's actually a governor here. Yeah. Change the governor of this city here. So you have your, every 3 months you'll go through and say, alright, what do we want to accomplish? for our main orders here. There's actually a screen before this, which led into us going out to battle and, you know, more high level, like who to employ, who to like sabotage, spy on, stuff like that. This is just more housekeeping, saying like we're gonna do this. As the governor, you get to delegate out, you know, your officers. I only have 2 right now, Liu Bei and Jushu, which is funny that I have Liu Bei under my control as Guan Yu here. As typically that'd be flipped, and then, you know, we have all forces. It goes through, running through that, but you spend a lot of time really on this screen here. You know, like you can see you'll have a lot of pop-ups where people would be like, hey, we found somebody important at GIP, you know, and you have different like attitudes, how people react to you here. This screen, you know, don't let it be information overload. The game's very good at the tutorial, and it always feels alive. That's one thing I do really appreciate with how much is going on with this game. It does feel like it's alive. You can take it at your own pace if you just want to chill, like I said, as a soldier, or if you want to be top level, more micromanagey, work your way up the ranks. You know, it's really how you interact with this map here. I think actually the only other downside here is this map with how like the roads are here. Like you have to do like this one. We were in Jinyang as Liu Bei, and we just screwed over. Like Heejin was down in the south, and at the top was Guangzhou Zan, and we were just screwed. We couldn't go over here, and I think as someone who got spoiled by playing like Total War 3 Kingdoms, where I could kind of just like roam around a little bit more, and yeah, especially as a vagabond group here, like bandits and everything, like roaming around there, going from like Jinyang to Nanpi, all like the little sub towns in between there. I think there's a lot more. So what's nice is there isn't too many like to be like, oh my gosh, I have to conquer like a bajillion cities. But just kind of like you, like right here, like just that long stretch to go from Jiaji to Huji. Like that's where, you know, if you get locked in between like some powerful people, like you're out of luck there. You're just not doing too much for a couple months probably. So that's where I ran into that instance with Zhang Fei, and we just couldn't do anything against He Jin. Joined his force, and Sun Jian, we've done pretty good wiping him off the map now, getting revenge for Zhang Fei. So, but in terms of like the home life here, you can see, where is it? You know, we can go and like train ourselves, learn new skills. You know, as our player character, it shows us our relations, who we're synergetic with, who is antagonistic to us, like Huang Gai, our sworn enemies, sworn siblings, mother, father, spouse, rivals, all of that. There's any symbol friendships. We get a biography of every single character here. You know, it's funny to think Guan Yu is just like a year older than me right now, but he's out there just kicking ass. What am I doing? What am I doing? But let's talk about like the bread and butter of this game that holds it all together for like telling the story is Tails right here. As you can see, the Eli reincarnate, the second coming of Eli. Like even though this isn't a story with us, we can still witness and control these different Tails here. And this is that ending. So you can see right here, this Zhang Yan conquered. This is an ending for the game. Like this will just end it here, and that's where I had to go back to my autosave. But like the grand ending, of course, is, you know, you have a midway ending and you have like a full, like, we captured everything ending there. So trying to see where that one was at, but like these Liu Yan's plans, like the historical tales, are really interesting here. Like this one, we'll actually, let's go through and trigger it. I don't think there's a cutscene for this one, but you can see, you know, Dian Wei, he's gonna get martial reputation increase, more merit increase. He Jin's gonna trust him more. So And I won't go through and like read all this, but we can play through and you can see, you know, there's a lot of different tales that'll pop up here. I hope they add a lot more, not only historical stories like this that are cool, but also just like what if scenarios, you know? And I think that could add a lot of life to this game here. And I think they have a lot of potential with that personally, you know, like what if Guan Yu goes evil and joins Cao Cao, and what if like him and Lu Bu become sworn brothers and they just go and wreck house, like just go off the wall, like crazy what if scenarios there. But yeah, so it's kind of like a very brief look here of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8. I didn't get to show off the debates or the duels, which are really cool, but I got to show you off the map here, you know, going through. You can buy some stuff, you can acquire some information, which is going to create our attitude, which overall will lead to like more tails popping up here. Like this one leads to people and could eventually lead us to getting married here, you know. So you know, there's tons and tons of different just things going on here in the world, but it's ultimately what you want to do with your character's life, which is pretty cool. You're not locked in as much as like some of the RTK games that I mentioned, where you're just like the ruler, you know, or you didn't have as much going on before. I think that power-up kit integration and including it right off the bat here really helps out this game too. And like I said, you can even make your own characters. So I think this is a game that definitely, are, you know, a modern remake really it's going to benefit from. I think the original game came out in like the early 2000s, so like a 20+ year update for the game. You know, that's amazing. You only lost out on the local multiplayer, but hopefully the game does really well. If you want to see more content on this game, let me know. I definitely would be down for it, because RTK 10, I have like a video out there where I recorded it like on my like cell phone as a kid. I think I was like 11 or 12 years old at the time, playing it on like a PS2, and yeah, I'd have a capture card I think for that. So to see like where like my timeline of like just this fascination with the Three Kingdoms period, from here to Dynasty Tactics to Dynasty Warriors, Total War Three Kingdoms, and back to ROTK again, like it's all really fascinating. I'm going to be going on a trip for a couple days, so hopefully I'll get some time with this game on the Steam Deck. I haven't got to see if it works. Hopefully it does. So but yeah, when I come back, if there's some interest to go through and run through a story, I was thinking personally Zhou Yu, just running through that, seeing what happens. I think, you know, I want to do probably a character who's more interesting, you know, all the way around. I mean, even like someone like a Lu Bu, we're just going out there and just causing all types of chaos, you know, it'd be really fun. But someone more like kind of like well-rounded, like a Zhou Yu, you know, would be pretty cool. So alrighty gamers, well, we'll see y'all next time. Take care.